Hey guys, how you doing? And welcome back. Spirit is being so generous today. I love it. So we are back. We are going to pull pineapple charms again, and we are going to roll the astro dice. So if you trust your discernment and you're catching the replay of the live, there will be a timestamp for you in the description. You could fast forward right to the reading if you just feel like this message caught you in divine time. If you are learning how to trust your discernment, aren't quite sure if this reading is for you or not, that is what pineapple charming is for. Pineapple charming has thousands of charms inside of him, and if one or more of them resonates with you, chances are there is something in there for you, right? Whether it is the message in its entirety or if it's just one thing that I say that clicks and you're like, that's why Spirit called me out in the charms, right? So take the messages as they resonate. Leave them if they don't. Don't force them to fit. This will be in the Timeless Messages playlist. So if you feel like you're pulled there instead, by all means, go and check out one of the other reads in that playlist. All right, so let's see. Spirit, please. Who else will need this message today? Okay. Thank you, Charming. It's always a pleasure. Hey, Christina. Sometimes Charming's too specific. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right. So we've got vibrate higher. You may be working on that yourself, right? We've also got our rainbow charm. Any of these can be synchronistic for you. It doesn't matter how. You can have tattoos of these things, right? We've got a rainbow. We also have a tuba or a French horn. That might just be a French horn, but we've got wind instruments, okay? You might be listening to classical music or drawn to it as of lately, right? Stuff like that. We've got a pomegranate. So you may be drinking things with pomegranates. You may have Persephone as a guiding guardian, right? Things that are related to pomegranates. We also have the white love heart. So pure and innocent, right, is what we think about when we see the color white. So true and innocent love, genuine love, unconditional love, right? It's not tainted by anything. It's love for the sake of love. We also have, the black swan charm. I love this. So the black swan, for those of you who don't know what the black swan is here on the channel, if you visualize, right, a lake with a bunch of ducks and one just regular swan, you're going to be drawn to look at the swan because it's so beautiful, right? No matter how beautiful the ducks are, you're looking at the swan. But if you were to picture an entire lake filled with swans and one of them is a black swan, it doesn't matter how beautiful all of those swans are, because you're going to be drawn and mesmerized by the black swan, right? So it's that mesmerizing energy that just kind of trumps everything else, right? It's that high vibe energy. We also have the whale. So deep dives and long distance communication comes up with the whale. You may be feeling someone else's energy while you're vibing high in your own. Spirit might have you tuned into somebody else and giving you insights on what they're feeling. This reading may be exactly that, to help you understand someone else. We also have the rabbit charm. It could be that maybe rabbit is your spirit animal. It could be connected to fertility and children and things like that. The rabbit also is very high speed, right? And they are known for being afraid, right? And just taking off running when fear kicks in. You could also be a fan of like Beatrix Potter and her different stories that involve like Peter Rabbit, or different stories with rabbits in general. I know the white rabbit came out in the last reading that we did today, right? Which is indicative of Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole. So that might be significant as well. However, rabbits are showing up in your experience. We also have the root chakra. So working on that fear versus stability type of vibration, right? Being able to ground things in from a place of trust and not fear, right? That we're not forcing things from a place of fear, but that we're trusting the manifestation is going to be what it is because we're in that trust state with spirit, right? And the things going on internally. So root chakra work. We also have double wheel of fortunes. Oh, how about that? We got double wheel of fortune. So double Jupiter energy. So Jupiter may be super significant for you right now. Could be Sag related, could be Pisces related. It could just be straight up how Jupiter in Cancer with Venus today is aspecting on your chart. So we've got double fortune. It might be fortunate circumstances for both you and another person, right? It's a blessing for both. Also, you know, there's two different kinds of blessings. There's blessings and there's blessings in disguise. And either way, they're both blessings. And maybe that's a reminder for that as well. We also have our black and silver chained heart charm. So silver is feminine energy. Regardless of gender, it's feminine and it's toxic with the black charm. It's toxic femininity. That is someone who either receives really high vibrations from someone else and doesn't return it, right? Or they are choosing to give in high vibrations, but they're receiving energy in return, right? Someone who is in low feminine energy, shadow feminine, toxic feminine, is someone who is receiving an experience that does not feel good. It is stressful. It's high anxiety. They're constantly defending themselves or trying to achieve a goal that seems unattainable, right? It's a very sad receiving. And it's because we're not choosing better, right? Our masculine energy, the yang, is not choosing to listen to the feminine that this doesn't feel good. I need to choose something different. You know, I always go back to what my counterpart had said to me years ago now when, well, the day that I left him, you know, when I said, I don't deserve this. And he said, yes, you do. And I said, no, I don't. I know I don't. And he said, yes, you do. You choose it every day. And I talk about how the lightning struck my brain and I was like, you know what, you're right. And I'm not going to choose it. Not one more minute, not one more day. And I left him right then. I said, we're done. We're done. You know, like I'm not choosing it anymore. You're right. You know, so toxic femininity is exactly that. Hey, Kristen. So we're dealing with that energy right now. We have the 5 of diamonds as well with the micro playing cards, which is a nod to the 5 of pentacles, which is feeling like you're alone in a situation. Maybe you feel like you're alone in a financial situation. Maybe you feel like you've been abandoned in heart by someone else. And really, you know, it's reflective of where you're at with your own energy, right? How have you abandoned yourself choosing what you've been choosing? The 5 of pentacles is feeling unlucky, like you're rolling snake eyes. So this message, I mean, it's very specific. Like someone is obviously working on vibrating higher. They're obviously working on alignment. They're definitely getting synchronistic messages or deep intuitive messages across time and space from someone else. We've got true, genuine love here. This is not romantic love. This is deep, unconditional soul love with black swan energy. And things are looking to align with trust, right? Double fortune for all. So we also have signs. I've got double Gemini, so you could have 2 or more significant Gemini placements, including Jupiter, right? It could be your big 3, but we do have Jupiter out here. So you could have a Jupiter in Gemini, be also a Gemini rising, Gemini sun or moon. You could have 2 significant planets, whether it's one of the big 3 or not, like even Saturn, right? Stuff like that. So we've got double Gemini. We also have Virgo, and we have Aries. And then for the charms, the letters, we have W, O, and X. You could be born in the year of the ox, right? We've got ox out there. So take them as they resonate. They could be initials. They could be abbreviations to where you're from, or what you do for a living, or even who you're involved with, right? W, O, and X. All right, and our astro dice. What is significant to you, Spirit? We've got Leo sun and 3rd house. Leo in the 3rd house would make you a Gemini rising. Might be super significant if that is the case. Leo sun. Leo also rules the 5th house. So your 5th house placement could be significant. 3rd house is also Gemini. So Gemini is definitely being called out. Gemini sun. You may also have significant Leo placements, including Jupiter. So take it as it resonates, guys. Mercury as well. You know, Mercury is never too far from the sun, but it can deviate one sign before or one sign after. So, you know, your Mercury placement might be in one of those signs regardless of your sun sign. Now, as an energy, Leo and the sun in the 3rd house, this is about really being proud of the way you communicate. This is taking control of the situation with the way that you communicate, not forcing things or manipulating things, but owning the presence in the room, you know, with what you are saying. This is meaning what you say and saying what you mean, and not diluting things or beating around the bush, but being very matter of fact. And it's not about, you know, about leaving choices up to other people. This is declaring, this is what I'm choosing, right? This is what I'm doing based on the reality that is. This is what I'm choosing. And no amount of promises, false promises, whatever, is going to change the situation. You know, I'm dictating what it is that I am going to do based on how I feel, what I am passionate about, what gets me inspired, what allows me to be the ruler of my life and feel good about it. You know, Leo in their shadow is the ego, but when you align the self with divine will, when you take your ego out of it, that you can be the ruler of your life in alignment with your higher self, that's really when you start to live, right? That's when you can really get passionate about life. That's when you really feel like a creator, you know, a true creator, co-creating with spirit, that you are going to live your best life, right? And choosing the best there is. So 3rd house, sun and Leo. Okay. Let's get into these cards. We are back with the Harrow, the hand-drawn cards, and my Divine Communications, Divine Conversations deck. And then I'm going to continue using the different masculine, feminine cards that I pulled earlier, though we do have a different tarot deck for insight and different guidance cards. So there will be timestamps for all of this in the description after. All right, Spirit. Who or what energy are we talking about that you would guide me today twice to be live? I love when Spirit calls me to work. All right, so we've got the big sky, came out kind of sideways, but we're going to leave it upright. And we've got the Paladin. Okay. I like that. Bottom of the deck is the Brass Dwarf. I like this. That energy is good. Spirit, I hope we're sticking with that. more hand-drawn cards. Spirit, clarify the big sky. This breaker of chains. Clarify the big sky. What energy are they coming with archetypally from this deck? That is too many. Okay, so they might be closing the door on a certain perspective where they vilify good people. And they might be cutting off toxicity, right, to things that are dimming out their light. Let's get an overall card, though. Give me one, please, for the big sky. And then the paladin. The chrysalis. Yeah, they're emerging. They're definitely coming into an emergence. All right. The paladin, please. We got the foundation and the sun. And not the eclipsed version, so that's good. That's really good. Okay. And we've got the key on top. So very indicative of Chiron energy. A key locks doors and opens doors. And then we have our divine conversation deck. So what conversation is Spirit having with each of these individuals? It could also be your own masculine and feminine energy, right? Different facets of the self. So yes, I take it as it resonates. What is the divine conversation that is being had with the big sky? What conversation, please? Ooh, this came out in the exact same spot in the last read. You know you're wasting your money or spending on the wrong things. Help yourself. Pay off your debts and save. All right. Clarify the divine conversation happening with the paladin. What divine conversation is being had with the paladin, please, Spirit? What card above all others? Sometimes self-love includes full consideration of those who love you. And by sometimes, I mean all the time. Invest. This is about committing to not being abandoned by investing in the self, right? Through other people who love you. Sometimes the best acts of self-love are investing in those who genuinely love you and are there for you. So stay in your lane and don't move so fast or be in such a hurry that you miss your exit. Feel good about your direction. So someone is definitely in this chrysalis energy, right? Breaking chains and freeing themselves from certain things. And they have to focus on what they need to do that. They can't be moving so fast and be so busy with life that they forget to get off, you know, the highway that they're on, the energetic highway, so to speak. You know, their exit is their exit and they can't miss it because of being distracted. So let me read for you what the brass dwarf is. It is a Constitution card. The brass dwarf on the bottom of the deck is lawful neutral. The brass dwarf shows an Azure who represents invulnerability to a current danger. Although others might fall, he remains hale and strong. The brass dwarf can also mean a failure or dark fate for one, which in turn might save all others around them from a greater danger. That's actually kind of cool considering the first reading that we had today, because someone was on the verge of potentially cutting a cord or letting it go and choosing to be gentle with themselves, right? So if we go from there and you're in that high energy, you may be invulnerable to the danger, right? Because you've chosen high alignment to vibrate higher. You've chosen to vibrate higher. Others might not be able to make that strong kind of choice, but I think that because you have, right? Because you have, you are immune to this. You are immune to whatever this dark fate is because you've chosen an alignment. You've chosen to free yourself in some way. Yeah, it might be unfortunate for another person. They might be going down a dark road as you elevate, but they make their choices. And because that person is probably going to plummet into the dark night, others are saved because of the choice you made. You know, you can't save everybody, but if your high aligned choice ends up saving more than just yourself, that's a beautiful thing, right? That is the healing that ripples, right? Healed people heal people. So, you know, if someone chooses a dark path, that's on them. They want to deep dive into the dark night, like that's on them. But because you chose in high alignment, it's more than just you that is going to benefit from that choice being made. And that's kind of fucking awesome, you know? So as we get into energy number 1, the big sky. The big sky is chaotic good. It shows an epic moment, right? It shows an epic moment as the slaves of a nation are freed. The slaves' freedom signifies momentous and powerful change as old shackles are cast off in the light of day. Old shackles are cast off. Now, this did come out sideways, so I will read the misaligned version of this card. If it were to reverse, if misaligned, the cast off shackles might be replaced with worse ones. And I think that is a good telltale sign of where maybe someone else is going, right? Especially if you were in their mirror and chose to align yourself higher. You know, what chains they had before when they were with you, or the chains that they perceived were there, you know, that you are this or you're that, you know, all the finger pointing or blaming that they were doing, right? The vilifying. They might realize that the situation with you and all that you were asking for was not nearly as bad as the path they're prioritizing or choosing, right? The low aligned path. It does tend to get a little more brutal as we continue to fail to heal. Spirit ups the ante. So for you, I feel as if these chains are coming off, momentous and powerful chains. Changes is there. That you're no longer enslaved to fear, right? And you're in this chrysalis stage. And the way I drew the chrysalis, it's about to open at any moment. You know, it really is about to open. You know, you're about to rebirth and really fly with these new wings of yours. You know, you're not crawling anymore. This is about flying. Huge change, right? Huge change. And you do need to focus on your money. You do need to stop frivolous spending and things like that. You do need to focus on getting your debts paid off and what you can do financially to get ahead of things. Okay, that is the big focus for whoever person number 1 is. Getting out of that old energy, knowing that you're being pulled and called into higher vibrations, and focusing on what you need to do for yourself, because you can't necessarily depend on other people to come through the way that you might want them to come through, right? The way that you might want them to come through. This is about working on your vibration and allowing yourself to manifest new and whatever that requires of you moving forward, right? Including the ability to say thank you, you know, when people show up for you. So energy number 2, we have the paladin. The paladin is lawful good. The paladin symbolizes standing strong in the face of adversity. The paladin does not back down under any circumstances. This card usually indicates the need to stay the course or do what one knows is right, even if it takes a heavy toll. So this person especially because it comes out with this card, right? Sometimes self-love includes full consideration of those who love you. And by sometimes, I mean all the time, right? This is about investing. This is when we commit to not being abandoned because we're investing in those who invest in us and show us loving energy, right? Truth, consideration, reciprocity, right? All of these things to invest in the people that put forth the kind of energy that we want invested into us, to learn to give that back, to be reciprocal, and needing to stay that course, right? And not backing down from that. No matter how much someone might pull you in a different direction or tell you that they've changed when they haven't, you know, this is about saying, truly saying, fuck it, and aligning yourself unconditionally with those who love unconditionally and not backing down from that. You know, sorry, not sorry. Like, you and I had our dance. You and I had our dance. But I'm breaking these chains now, and I'm not putting them back on, because if I put them back on, it's going to be worse, right? That sideways energy that the big sky came out with. I'm not going to put them back on because it could be worse. I'm not going to lock myself in and be enslaved to a mirror with low vibratory energy with my fingers crossed, hoping for the best, when, you know, they're not even someone who would consider helping themselves in divine ways, who would call stuff like tarot or astrology or candles or whatever, you know, bullshit witchcraft, and not give it a second thought. You know, it takes a certain kind of person to trust in their divinity despite judgment. So I think it says a lot, you know, if you're freeing yourself and you're in tune with your divinity, and someone else is trying to pull you back in, and they are not the type, they're not the type to listen in and seek it out on their own, like without being told, you know, or without overhearing it by mistake. Like, you know, they're probably not aligned in the direction you're moving, you know, for whatever reason, they're trying to stay attached to the situation. It's not divine. It's not love, right? Genuine love based. They're not following their feel goods, right? They're following a path of fear. So be aware, because obviously these people are in the mirror for a reason. I think there is definitely an energy here who is in their light, whose foundation is solid, who invests in those, who invests in them, and they commit. Once they commit, they're in, and they don't sway from that. You know, they don't sway from that. And so I feel like person number one has to know that there is a safe person for them to connect to. Lawful good is divine order. They are contracted to be a light, contracted to empathy. They do not know any other way. So where this is chaotic good, and it's good in alignment, but it tends to be a little more random. Sometimes maybe you get sucked down the wrong path. This person brings order to the chaos, right? This person does probably communicate very, very clearly. This is what I'm choosing based on what I see. You know, if you treat me well, I'm choosing this action to treat you well. You support me, I'm going to choose this action to support you. It's very matter of fact. And this person is there to influence the first energy that we have here. You know, so this is a very positive alignment between these two individuals, and this mirror, this healing, right? This healing is going to help person number one truly avert further damage or further enslavement to a broken system, a broken energy. Very positive influence, earth angel type influence. You could even see how the angel wings are on his helm there. You know, very positive energy, golden armor, very Leo, right? Very, very Leo. I love that. Okay, so where are the masculine and feminine energies of each of these people? What are they thinking about or acting about with their energy? Yeah, I love that. And you know what? It probably is, because like this person probably has a really good heart. Like they probably are an empath sometimes for the wrong people, maybe more oftentimes for the wrong people. Like they give their all only to get burned. And this person's like, you will not burn with me though. You know, other people might burn you, but that is not why I'm in your life. You know, that is not the mirror that I bring. I bring a positive mirror. I'm the empath that waters to an empath that waters, right? I water you and you water me. And that's how person number 2 functions. That's how person number 2 functions. So let's get some insight into the big sky. What are they feeling about or acting about with the big sky, please, Spirit? Yeah, I love that energy. That's great energy. If you feel dishonest or are keeping secrets, what are you ashamed to admit? How are you robbing yourself? Offering clarity and the truth sets us free. That came out in the reverse, right? So one is about keeping secrets or being dishonest, and the other one is about clarity and truth, and that was in the reverse. So the one thing that person number 1 maybe needs to accept is that they are not necessarily being honest with themselves, and they're ashamed to admit it. You know, that maybe they chose wrong. Or maybe they needed the hard lesson, right? Maybe they've chosen the hard lesson multiple times now. And we've all done it, guys. Like we've all loved somebody or rooted for somebody so hard, right? Especially when we see potential. We've all rooted for somebody so hard and invested so many times and doubled down and tripled down and tried again, that, you know, accepting that maybe it's just the disconnect that's needed is truly what it was all about from the beginning, right? The empowered self. And maybe we were learning lessons in communicating what we need and what we want and what is acceptable and what is not, and just making choices, you know, and not really giving other people the option, you know, to dictate or control the outcome. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm just choosing what I'm choosing. You're going to have to figure it out. I'm choosing what I'm choosing, you know. There's something to do with shame there. Maybe someone doesn't want to admit it, that they're struggling or that they are more unhappy than they're even leading themselves on to believe with the situation that they're in. And maybe other people have their opinions about it, which is, you know, that fear of judgment from other people. It ties into that ashamed feeling. So person number 1 is coming out of a difficult time. But they maybe need to accept that the solution that they originally came to address a certain fear is not actually the solution. You know, it's not actually the solution. Maybe it's causing more stress or anxiety than maybe you care to admit. And you really don't need to do that. You know, you don't need to sacrifice yourself or your peace like that. Let's get some insight into the Paladin. You feel it coming, sensing a lucky break. So this person is sensing some kind of good luck. They're feeling it, right? It says the dark night of the soul is a lonely one, but a necessary one. You can't take your demons into the future. This person knows that. And signing on the dotted line, contracts, accepting conditions, right? Lawful good. So this person knows, right? This person knows. This person is so in tune. This person is an empath through and through, and they are sent here by divine order to be there for person number 1. They are willing to accept this contract with person number 1. They feel the lucky break coming. And the dark night of the soul, they know it was necessary because this person can't take their demons with them into the future. It's just a matter of checking in. It's just a matter of being honest, right? With themselves. What is and is not working for me? What am I willing to put up with? What am I not willing to put up with? What am I willing to tolerate? What am I not willing to tolerate? As soon as person number one gets clear, person number two is in. They are ready to go. Ready to go. Like, yup, I accept this contract. No problem. They know that they're not bringing their demons forward, right? They are one of those I water you, you water me empath people. They have a solid foundation within themselves and they're in their light, shining bright, right? And those rays are reaching out in all directions. This is a high aligned person. High aligned person. They're committed to the light. And no doubt a for real earth angel for person number one. This is the reward, right? For alignment, like Spirit's letting you know, if you align with your high energy, you are going to manifest right into the reality of someone who is absolutely committed to reciprocity and consideration and watering you the way you water them. They're in. 100% they're in. I love that. I love that. All you have to do is make sure that if you're moving forward, it's for the right reasons. It's for reasons based in love and not based in fear. You know, that you're not being pulled as person number one to person number two's orbit for like financial reasons. Like you're doing it because you know that they're healthy for you and the finances will just work themselves out naturally. You know that it will, because this person is not going to let you suffer, right? Person number two is not going to let person number one suffer. They're like, okay, you need financial stability. I got you. This is what the goal is. No problem. We can work together on this, right? This is a team player. This is someone who is totally in, right? Team mindset. I got you and you got me. And as long as we got each other and we're considering each other, right? Empath and empath, then we're good. Everything will work itself out. The stress is non-existent. The care is there. The fortune, right? Double fortune. We got double fortune. This is working out for two people. This is double fortune. It's beneficial for everybody. Beneficial for everybody. Whatever the truth is that needs to come out, that is the one thing that might hold this energy at bay. Might be the one thing holding it at bay. So let's make sure, you know, if there is some kind of honest truth, you have to get real with yourself about like why you're doing what you're doing. Maybe you just need to be honest about it so that someone can tell you like, hey, don't worry about it. Like, this person will tell you, don't worry about it. I'll be there tomorrow. You say the word. You say the word and I will get going. Right? I will get going. Like, because they're not going to let you worry. They're not. They're lawfully contracted per divine order with the highest energy there is, right? Good aligned energy. They're not going to leave you hurting. They're not going to leave you abandoned at all. My coffee cup is empty. I love you, Tanya. I'm drinking from her coffee cup today. So let's see with the tarot what insight Spirit would have us see and understand. Spirit, please. Let's see. What do we need to know about what is going on right now? Right? Maybe it'll give us some insight into what is being hidden, right? That secret. Ooh, we got the Lovers. It's succubus energy here, Gemini energy. What else? So person number one might have somebody feeding off of their good energy, taking advantage of them. It may be someone they were intimately connected with at a time. We got the 10 of Wands and the Hanged Man. So also Piscean energy. Pisces might be significant in the chart. God knows North Node's in Pisces, and North Node came out in the earlier reading. They're definitely dealing with the crosses of someone else. Like they feel responsible for helping someone heal or making their healing easier, which is essentially what carrying the crosses of someone else is. Like, you know what their healing is, but you're trying, right? Trying to make it easier on them. But it's stagnating you spiritually, right? So I feel like this is person number one. They're making this choice to carry someone else's healing process, but it's keeping them in the dark from what they deserve. What they deserve to receive. And I'm hearing it, Spirit's like today. They deserve to receive it today. We've got the Six of Wands. Yeah. That's that victory energy coming on. That's that victory energy coming from person number two. Give me two more, Spirit, and some clarities. We got the Seven of Pentacles. And they can sense it. You know what I mean? This second person, like, they can sense that whoever person number one is dealing with has a spoke in the wheel, you know? Keeping everything from running smoothly in divine time. We could see all the gears in the machine. And then I've got the Queen of Swords that comes out in the reverse. And it's the Amazon. You know, it's the Amazon card. And I feel like this person wants to come in and bring balance to things, but there's only so much they could do. They can't tell somebody else what to do. They can hold truth, but they can't make somebody else do something. It's Libra, Virgo, cusp energy. Like someone really does have to choose their high alignment and stop questioning themselves. Because they are distracted. They're possibly even, like I said, being pulled, right? If we look at the top of the deck here, being pulled towards luxury at the expense of love. So person number one might really be worried about finances. They might seriously be worried about finances and keeping somebody in the mix because of money fears. And they're rejecting or ignoring loving opportunities coming from the paladin. The truth is, you know, something or someone is holding back your progress is on the bottom. That's the truth, you know, and they're not admitting that truth. Like person number one is not willing to admit that truth, but they have a person in their reality, like willing to sign on the dotted line, like soul commitment. But they can't tell somebody else what to do. They know that. And if they're acting in high alignment, right, and that's their vibe, they know they can't. They know they can't force it. They have to flow. They have to flow. Let's get some clarities, please. Clarify the Lovers, the Ten of Wands, and the Hanged Man. Clarify this energy for us, please. We got the Chariot in reverse. It's Cancerian energy. Yeah, whoever they're tied to, they're fucking stuck because of it. Someone is leeching off of their good, kind energy, and they don't even realize. Like, person number one might think they're doing a good thing. They don't even realize how much they're thwarting their own manifestation. They don't even realize how much they're thwarting their own manifestation, keeping this person around. Even if that person's not, quote unquote, doing any harm, like outright on the surface, They are, though. They're literally just a block in the way of them, of person number one being free. Queen of Cups, the Gorgon, came out sideways. Also Cancer, Gemini energy. Right, look at that. We've got Cancer and Gemini on the bottom of the card. It's like someone was taken advantage of, right? Like Medusa was taken advantage of. And so, you know, Medusa became ugly as a form of self-protection. So whoever person number one is, they might be tapping into what is an ugly side of their character, a facet of them that they don't like being, because they don't want to be taken advantage of or hurt. But that's not natural to who they are. They're not naturally in that kind of ugly energy to self-protect. Clarify the Hanged Man, please. We got the Nine of Swords. Yeah, that's the fear. That's the fear. That's the anxiety. And it almost looks like a paladin, right, in the background. On the other side of the wall, right, high up in the energy, with this beautiful mirror, right, this radiant mirror. We've got the sun's rays, right, the sun with the mirror just beaming down, fighting off the serpent with the basilisk. You know what I mean? These two people are not in the same vicinity as each other. But the paladin, I mean, you can even see, like, he's got the red feather in his helm there. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. They came out with the sun. It's all there. The paladin knows how to fight back these fucking snakes. The paladin is super protective. Like, those snakes are not going to come back and hurt whoever the first person is. But the first person is not on the same energy level right now. They're still trapped inside their own walls. They're still trapped inside their own walls with the snake. Person number one, as of right now, is still trapped inside their own walls with the snake. Self-imposed prison. That's what Spirit's hearing it in my head. They're choosing it. Let's get some clarity on what's going on with the paladin. Clarify the Six of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords, please. What is going on? Seven of Swords on the Six of Swords. They know they know. The victory is being robbed. The victory is being robbed. It's being stolen. Six of Swords in the reverse on the Seven of Pentacles. They know they can't go back. Like, once the victory is robbed, if person number one doesn't get out of their own way and start being really honest with themselves, like, that's the kicker right there. Once it's lost, it's lost. I had this conversation with Tanya today on the phone. You know, like we could push things as far as they can go sometimes, but at the end of the day, if spirit forces your hand, you have to reflect on it in hindsight, but you don't necessarily, you're not able to go back and get the opportunity, you know? Like you could take it the long road, and spirit will help you with the long road, but you can only take it so far. And then spirit's like, okay, I have to start moving pieces around because people deserve what they deserve. And you can't go back now. Like you might still learn it and realize it in hindsight, but you can't go back. And the 8 of Wands, yeah, they're getting these pings. They're getting these intuitive pings. They know that the first person isn't necessarily being honest with themselves. Like person number 1 might feel like they have it all under control. Bottom of the deck is the Emperor, high masculine energy, and we've got the Knight of Cups. Yeah, this... For real, though. For real, though. The 9 of Cups is the Jinn. This is the high masculine energy that someone's wishing for, the Paladin, regardless of gender. If person number 1 prayed for a true high masculine energy, that is the Paladin. They choose an alignment with what feels good. Person number 1 is learning how to do that. But they're learning. It's not something they've mastered. And they have not chosen it yet. They have not chosen to align. Like spirit has probably tried to set it up a few times and it keeps falling through because person number 1 is not, they're not ready. They haven't chosen to be ready. They can be ready. They haven't chosen to be ready yet. They're holding someone else's crosses for them. And having to, you know, be the fire-breathing dragon, which is not natural to them. They've made this choice, right? With the Lover's card, they've made this choice to stay in the same mirror, stay stuck, right? Chariot in reverse. No divine momentum. They don't want divine intervention, which is literally what the Paladin is. Letting the divine intervene on their behalf to help heal things. I feel like the Paladin, with that brass dwarf energy that we had, no matter what, they're not phased. They're not going to be affected by this at all. They will come out unscathed no matter what person number 1 chooses. If they choose to align with the Paladin will succeed with them. If person number 1 chooses against it and they want to put the worst shackles on, that's fine. The Paladin is going to continue to succeed without them. You know, either way, I feel like the Paladin is good. They're in their lane and they're in their alignment, and there's nothing that they're worried about. They're just intuiting and sensing everything. It's like person number 1 is so fucking close. But it's like their ego, right? The lower energy of Leo is, it's in the way. It's in the way. And it's Leo season. As of divine moment, it is Leo season. We just hit the Lionsgate portal. You know, we've got Jupiter, Venus in Cancer. We had Mercury direct as of like today or yesterday. Mercury direct in Leo. So depending on what you have in Aquarius, right? Being on the opposite end, depending on what you've got in Aqua. I think Aqua came out in the first read. In the charms. Like there's an integration going on there. We've got Pluto in Aquarius right now. You know, there is this integration going on with Plutonian energy, like deep energy. Soul scar stuff. It's major transformation. And there's something you got to understand about Pluto. Pluto has no limits. Pluto in Scorpio, it is the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth. Scorpio, Pluto, it has no limits. Saturn has limits to how much pain it will bring in. Pluto does not. Pluto said, oh, that pain wasn't enough for you? Saturn, that pain wasn't enough for you. I don't have those limitations. Let me double down on that. Let me make it 3 times as hard as it was. Let me, by the time this is all said and done, let's have you really question what the fuck you were ever thinking so that you never make that mistake again, because it's going to be burned into your soul for this life and the next. Pluto will make sure you never forget your fuck ups. You never forget your choices and misalignment. Pluto will drum that shit home. Drum it home so that you never forget. In this life or the next or the next or the next. Pluto has no limits. Reminds me of Peaky Blinders and Tommy Shelby, because he's always saying, I have no limitations. People are like literally asking him, like, Tommy, do you have no limits? Like, do you have no boundaries? And he's like, no, I have no limitations. He would put a bullet in his nephew's head. Tommy Shelby. Doesn't matter. No limitations. That's Pluto. Pluto does not care. Pluto said, what do you need to learn the lesson? What do you need? You need more pain and suffering? More than Saturn could possibly dish to you? That's fine, I will. If Saturn won't do it, I will. Given, Pluto also gives the greatest fucking rewards, the greatest transformations. Hey Rita, how are you? Greatest transformations. It is literally rebirth energy, phoenix rising energy, flames from the ash, like reborn, powerhouse energy, reserves of spiritual bank energy, just karma cashing out into the lifetime. All of your good karma that is built up over lifetimes, if you align, Pluto will cash out on that good karma. It's like hitting the spiritual fucking lottery if you align with it. It is. So for as dark as Pluto will take it higher and brighter and lighter than any other planet as well. I mean, Pluto literally has the shape of a heart on it. A huge, big white heart, which literally came out in the charms. Big white heart. Go look at pictures of Pluto and that big, beautiful white heart that Pluto has all over its surface. Takes up like a third of the surface. It's huge. Pluto loves you so much. It will take no limits. So, whoever person number 1 is, let this be like a realization to you that spirit is like, hey, like you've been warned respectfully. You can choose it, and you can choose it today. You can choose it today and start making moves today in your highest good. Doing what you need to do when you're honest with yourself. Or you are going to reflect on it. And whatever the paladin is, it's going to be lost to you. You will not be able to connect with the paladin again. You will have to trust that as you heal and you reflect on the choice you failed to make for yourself, that you can find another paladin who will love you like that and sign on the dotted line for you like that. Come with that lucky break energy like that. You will have to trust that you will find another one, because this opportunity will be lost. It will be lost. The examples that I gave when I was talking to Tanya, like, yeah, I figured out what I wanted, when I look back in hindsight at my relationship with Javi. But it was too late by the time I realized that I had taken my path with my quote unquote twin flame as far as I could take it down the dark road and blew it. To the point that spirit was like, he has to move on. And you're going to have to trust that you will find somebody else of the same soul family, the same vibration that you deserve to receive. Then just like you do now. But it's not him. That has passed. That time has passed. You will have to have trust and faith that there is another quote unquote hobby out there for you. It's no different with me with my quote unquote counterpart. Like, that time has passed. If he had a million chances to come back, and a million times that he thought of me and was like, you know what, maybe I should just reach out, and didn't. Like, that time has passed. That door is closed. It's closed. There is no going back now, you know? Like, no regrets, no animosity, no ill will, but that door is closed. It will not reopen. He will have to trust and believe that there is another grace out there to love him the way he deserves to be loved, like he did when he was with me and like he does today. Despite himself, he will have to trust there is another grace out there. But the door with me is closed, you know, because we realize it, we learn it. We learn it no matter what. But if we take it to the far end of the extremes, sometimes we can't go back. We can't go back. This is the spiritual heads up, you know, that you're getting. Like, you have a very viable, loving, empath to empath option. Empath to empath option. But you can't drag this out any more than you've already dragged it out. Whatever you're lying to yourself about, person number one, that you're ashamed to admit. Ashamed to admit, right? There's shame here. How are you robbing yourself? How are you robbing yourself? You're going to rob yourself of the paladin. Person number one has this succubus or incubus energy. Just like, yeah, I'll roadblock that, no problem. And by the time person number one realizes it, person number two is going to be moved on, and they're going to be SOL. They're going to have to be thinking about what the fuck they did. Person number one, whoever their vampire is essentially what a succubus or incubus is. It's an energy drain. It's a vampire. Whoever their spiritual vampire is, they're like, I'm benefiting. I'm taking their energy. I'm gaining because of them. They're carrying my crosses for me. It's no skin off my back. It sucks to be theirs, but whatever. As long as I'm better off taking their energy, I don't care. Whoever their vampire is doesn't give a fuck about them, truly. They're just whatever they could do to take the energy, whatever they could do to snag the light. And person number one is going to have to like really snap out of it. Like hardcore snap out of it. And see that energy vampire for exactly what they are. Just be like, you know what? I'm not choosing it. Not one more day. Not one more fucking day. Even if you made a choice to move forward in a certain direction, you have to be able to pivot and be like, you know what? I said this, or I chose this, but I'm not choosing it anymore. I had a change of heart. Sorry, not sorry. This is what I'm choosing. You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Because you know who would be there for you the same way. The same way you would be there for them. You know this. You know this. And you know who wouldn't. You shouldn't have to be the Gorgon, right? You shouldn't have to be the fire-breathing dragon to not be taken advantage of or hurt in some way. That's not natural to you. It doesn't feel good to be that. It doesn't feel good to be that. Like, if that's what you choose, then yeah, I guess that is who you have to be because that's what you're choosing. The paladin knows this. The paladin knows, but literally, Queen of Swords in the reverse can't say shit. Can't say shit. They can try and do downloads, right? Spiritual guidance with the 8 of Wands. They can get pings from spirit. But they can't tell person number one what to do. All right, for guidance, we've got the notes from the universe on love and connection. We've got the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Alana Fairchild and the Kuan Yin Oracle by Alana Fairchild. So we're going to pull those, and then I will read for you guys, and I will timestamp the guidance section. Okay. So Spirit, because I feel like this is for person number 1. Person number 2, whoever the paladin is, like, they know they're in alignment. They know they're in alignment. All right, Spirit, please. For person number 1, what is the guidance? What is the divine guidance at this time for them? You might not know now, but you will. You might not know now, but you will. That's not fucking ominous of what the hell I was just talking about. Jeez. What else, please, Spirit? Crystal Mandala Oracle cards. What else? What card above all others, please? Sacred ecosystem. Yeah. Yeah. That's about your environment. That's about your environment. Your spiritual environment. And from Goddess Kuan Yin, Daughter of the Phoenix. Daughter of the Phoenix. Okay. First card. Think of someone very, very special to you. Now, feel yourself bursting with love for them. Now, mentally shower, drench, and soak them in that love. Now, mentally shower, drench, and soak yourself in my love. Feel it always. Now, feel it always, the universe. Person number 1, you know who your paladin is. You know your special person. You got to feel yourself bursting with love for them so that they can do the same thing. Visualize that shower of love energy. You giving love to that beautiful paladin in your life. And watching Spirit just douse you with that beautiful love energy in return. Hold on to that visualization. Hold on to that visualization. Sacred ecosystem. Card number 26. Really, Spirit wants you to win so fucking bad. Spirit wants you to win so bad. Sacred ecosystem. Ascended Master, Kathumi, and Moss Agate. We bring you the blessing of the sacred ecosystem. This is a gift of conscious connection, supportive relationship, and magnetism, which attracts you, the souls in need of your light. Where you once may have felt as though you were not in the right place, this blessing shall now rectify that. You are meant to belong and contribute freely to your true soul community. You are destined to feel as though you have found your way home and can attract and be attracted to those that can support you and benefit from your support too. As you let go of past rejection, of the belief that you have to accomplish your divine life mission on your own or fight to have your place in the world, you will allow the power of the sacred ecosystem to transform your life. Your life purpose shall flourish, and your experience of conscious connection with the world around you will heal your heart and soothe your soul. Paladin is your true family. It's literally that I water you, you water me energy. Destined to feel as though you have found your way home. Needing to let go of past rejection of the self and how that means back to you as others reject loving you. That it is not natural for them. You do not have to accomplish your divine life mission on your own. In fact, it is because of sacred partnership, which is a big deal about Venus and Jupiter together, especially in Cancer. It's about loyalty and soul family. It's on the star, the fixed star Sirius, which is considered our soul sun. Our second son of the soul. It's about loyalty and connection to people who are in alignment with you like that. You're meant to be in conscious connections, right? Conscious means you choose it. Conscious means you choose it outright. You choose it consciously. It says there is an exquisite intelligence to divine design, a way for every aspect of every being to be made to serve the great plan of love. There is a story of a cracked pot, which was used to carry water from the fountain to the master's table. But because of the crack, it leaked water along the path, arriving at the master's house only partially full, while another pot without a crack was able to hold its full complement of water for the household. The cracked pot wondered if it was not good enough of a pot. One day, the water carrier felt compassion for the cracked pot and asked why it seemed so sad. When the water carrier realized the pot felt that its flaws were bad, especially compared to the undamaged, perfect pot, he asked the cracked pot to look down at the path where it leaked water each day. "What do you see?" asked the water carrier to the pot. "I see flowers," replied the pot. "Yes, that is right," the water carrier said. "Those flowers have sprouted along the path because you have been watering them. Each day, they become an offering of beauty and grace upon the master's table." The cracked pot felt very happy to hear this and realized that what it thought was imperfection was actually just a beautiful way to serve. The story teaches us of something of the sacred ecosystem. In this sacred ecosystem, everything that is, even the things we might initially write off as unwanted or shameful, serves the greater good. When we simply are who we are, the ecosystem thrives. It doesn't always make sense, but it's true. This is why you never need to judge yourself or another. The divine is ingenious in its creative design of all beings, including you. All things serve. Could light be more beautiful or desired than when it is yearned for to break through the dark night? All things have sacred purpose. If you have felt ostracized, abandoned, rejected, or criticized by a system in which you have tried to serve, take heart. When the oracle of sacred ecosystem comes to you, you are being notified that the universe is assisting you in finding your rightful place, your home upon the earth, for you to best fulfill your life's work. You hear that train going off? It's going to get loud for a second. Now, that might mean that the system you have been doing your best to operate within has benefited from your light and presence more than you realize. It may also mean the time has come for you to shift from one system to another, that there is a new community in which you can serve. This may involve physical relocation or energy shifts or both. It may result in new connections forming and old ones dissolving. You may feel like you've stepped out of a story or a world into a completely different story or world. And these are just signs that you are evolving into a new sacred ecosystem. It may take some time before you settle with confidence into your place within that new sacred ecosystem, but that assurance will come in due course. And in the meantime, remember that the way you best serve an ecosystem is to be as authentically your divine and brilliantly flawed self as you can. Yeah, sometimes it's us changing location. Sometimes it's us changing energy. Sometimes the location stays the same, but the people in our mirror are different. Sometimes it's the people in our mirror that have to go. You know, like the environment has to shift. And you have to trust. I swear me and Tanya had this conversation on the phone too. Like, because I said to her, I was like, sometimes we have to trust that the light we shined for others was enough and that we don't have to keep shining. Like in hindsight, all of the light that Javi gave me was enough. He didn't have to keep shining. He shined for me for 3 years and that was enough. Reflecting on that in hindsight has helped me in such profound ways. He didn't need to keep shining or suffering for me. He was able to move forward and live his best life. And what he shined in my life was enough. Same goes for me and my counterpart. I know and have faith that the time I shined for him was enough. I don't need to keep shining. I don't need to go back and suffer again or suffer down tenfold. What I went through and shined for him was enough. We don't have to keep shining. Because she was talking about being a lighthouse for people. And I said, you know what? Sometimes you don't have to be the lighthouse anymore. Like they know where the light is. They know what the light looks like. You don't have to stay stagnant in the storm, right? The lighthouse. You do not have to stay stagnant in the storm because others need you to shine. No, they know what the fucking light looks like. You do not have to stay there and keep shining. Let somebody else man the lighthouse. The lighthouse is just a place inside the storm, and there are as many, many people in the world to shine. You do not have to feel obligated to stay and be that beacon. You can move on to different places with different energy. Experience your highest good. You don't have to stay the lighthouse forever. You don't have to stay the lighthouse forever. They know what light looks like. You were a huge blessing in their life, huge. And now they need to reflect on it. It's not your job to keep staying there, right? Person number one, it's not your job. It's not your job anymore. Retire. Retire from being someone else's martyr, from being someone else's cross bearer. Retire. Let somebody else take over. Go experience different things. Beautiful mirrors, right? Beautiful mirrors. Daughter of the Phoenix. Daughter of the Phoenix. Says when the soul is ready to spread its wings, it goes through a deep cleansing, purification, and preparation for new levels of spiritual wisdom, power, and light. Just like the phoenix that is baptized through celestial fire to be born anew, you are going through such a phase of heavenly purification, preparation, and initiation. This is an advanced phase of soul growth, and soon after, you will enjoy greater spiritual peace, divine power, and advancement on your divine life path. Kuan Yin, daughter of the Phoenix, has been through fire, both physical and heavenly, and has ascended into a position of great spiritual peace, power, and authority. She guides you now to claim your rebirth and ascend. In the same way that if we were moving house, we would need to sort through our possessions, and sometimes it's an opportunity to let go of that which we do not wish to take with us into our new life. As we prepare to move into a higher level of consciousness, there are old habits, stuck emotions, and stagnant energy that do not belong in our new life cycle. The path of purification and initiation by celestial fire is preparation for spiritual enlightenment, greater happiness, well-being, prosperity, success, spiritual responsibility, and leadership. It can be a challenging time, as that which would stand in the way of a new level of spiritual potency must be eliminated. And often these things are deep fears, doubts, or questions about your own worth and ability. It can feel confronting to meet these parts of ourselves consciously. Yet we cannot let go if we don't even realize what we are still holding on to within us. This initiation will help you release any old baggage or pain that will not resonate with the higher levels of light that you are preparing to live. It can feel challenging at times, but know that there is nothing wrong. There is actually something very right behind these experiences. Do not fear the challenges. You would not be taking these spiritual exams if you were not ready to live at a higher spiral of consciousness. Have some faith in your own progress, and remember not to get attached to what is quote unquote leaving your consciousness as you are preparing to ascend. Letting go of old energies with trust, even if you do not always consciously understand what is happening, it is the quickest way to be able to ascend easily and gracefully. To pass this initiation and benefit from it, we must be prepared to surrender that which needs to be burned away. To pass this initiation and benefit from it, we must be prepared to surrender that which needs to be burned away. Kuan Yin, daughter of the Phoenix, guides you to have faith and fearless trust that it is safe to let heavenly fire have its way, so that you may rise up anew into your spiritual destiny. The initiation is in its final phases when you are able to put your new beliefs and talents to the test, living based on your spiritual principles of trust, faith, and love. No matter what is presented now, it is an opportunity for you to apply your spiritual values and live your life accordingly. Then the celestial fire will have soon done its work, and you will rise like a glorious phoenix ready for new life. Burn it out with love and light. Whatever needs to go, or whoever needs to go, person, place, things. If you are moving house out of your old energy, go through your spiritual shit and let go of that which cannot stay. You do not want to move it into your future. You don't want to move it into your future. Choose it for yourself. Allow the fires to be purging for you. To put that foot down and make that stand for yourself today. I'm going to choose it today and not sacrifice my well-being, my happiness, my peace, not one more day. I'm not going to be ugly to get my way. I'm not going to be ugly to get my way. I don't like it. It's not natural to me. I don't like being that. God knows I knew when I was with my counterpart, I knew I could have got ugly. My mother taught me that, but that's not me. That's not natural to me. I'm not a screamer. I'm not violent. I don't get loud. I don't like confrontation. I don't like having to be adamant and talk to people like they're children. I don't like it. Can I do it? Yeah. Do I know what it looks like? Yeah. Have I had to do it before? Yeah. Ask my son's father. Yeah, I've had to do it before. I don't like it though. It's a choice you can make, but it is not the highest choice that you can make. And at some point, person number one is going to have to reach that conclusion. Like, yeah, they can be in the energy of, protecting the self through being a little ugly. Yeah, they can. That is a choice that they can make. But there is a higher choice still. There is a higher choice still, right? Vibrate higher. There is a higher choice still. You can choose to vibe even higher, because whoever this reading is for, you are not receiving what you deserve to receive. Your feminine energy is receiving toxicity, and you know it. You don't actually like the reality that you are receiving. It does not feel great. It doesn't feel great. You're not looking so forward to coming home. You know what I mean? You're not looking forward to it. You're not excited to go home when the day is done type energy. Like, I knew something was off when I was with Javi because he wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't a bad person. But I found myself dreading going home. I would go to work and just sit in my car around the block, chain smoke through a couple cigarettes, and fuck off on my phone for a half an hour. Especially if I got off from work early. They sent me home early and was like, it's okay, we'll close up. Like, you can go home now. I was like, well, fuck. So I'd go park around the corner and take that half an hour and not actually go home until he expected me home. I used to hate it. Not because he was a bad person. It just didn't resonate. Like, you should look forward to coming home. Your home should be that place where you can't wait to go. The people in your life should feel like that. People should get excited when you call them. Not, oh, you want to talk to me? Oh. Like, fuck them, respectfully. Living life, fuck them now. Send them good wishes, but they're not your people. They're not in alignment. They don't get excited to talk to you. You dread when they talk to you or when they reach out, like you roll your eyes like, oh, here it goes. What kind of dumping ground am I going to become today? Like, you are not someone else's spiritual diaper so that they could shit all over you. Like, that's not what you are. Because they're a spiritual baby. Let them grow up. Let them grow up. They are not your child. They are a child of the divine. They are not your child. Let spirit help them grow up. It is not your job. It is not your job. Do you or do you not trust spirit? Right? Do you or do you not trust spirit? When you let go of that and who or what is in misalignment with you, do you not trust that when you make room for the good to come in by letting go of the not so good, by letting go of the energy vampires in your life who are just benefiting off of you? You're not benefiting, not really. You're not benefiting in a way that only they can provide. You're not. Any benefit that you would get from your vampire, I promise you the paladin can do it, and they could do it tenfold. I promise you the paladin can do it tenfold. Whatever your vampire would provide, whatever breadcrumbs of energy they would give you, your paladin would do it tenfold. No questions asked. They would probably know what you needed before the need was even expressed, because they're fucking empath like that. They are divinely checked in. They already know how to love you. They love you already like that. Can you imagine what it would be like if you literally tuned in to choose your paladin without interference? That you would unleash the full potential of what your paladin is capable of for you. What a relief. What a fucking relief that you could be excited about your day and not just pieces of it. That you would be legit excited about your day. That you would go to work at a job you enjoy and come home to people that you enjoy. That feel like a spiritual breath of fresh air every time they greet you. Like, go be loved. Let love in. Let love in. You will not be disappointed. Double fucking Wheel of Fortune cards. Like, you will not be disappointed. Rainbow after the storm. You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. That trumpet, right? That French horn, that blaring energy from the charms. Like you have a black swan who can feel you, sense you. Your rebirth is here. Call on Goddess Persephone, right? That pomegranate charm. Call on Goddess Persephone to help you rebirth. To help you rebirth. You do not have to feel abandoned by people. You do not have to feel let down by people. You do not have to feel like you need to be ugly in order to get what you deserve. There is a higher way. There is a higher way. It's not that the middle road's not bad, but it's not the high road. You know, to put it into perspective, the low road would be letting these incubi, succubi people, these vampiric people just fucking take it for granted. Right? That's the low road, being completely taken for fucking granted. The middle road is being ugly to get your way and putting your foot down. Yeah. Yeah, you get what you deserve, but you got to fight tooth and nail for it. You got to remind people for it and treat them like children. Yeah, that's the middle road. You're not as low as you were. You're in the middle now. That's great. That's progress. But there is a higher path still, and it's called fuck that bullshit. I'm going to go get what I deserve and be with people that align with me, and I don't have to be ugly to get what I deserve. I shouldn't have to be ugly. I just deserve what I deserve, and people that align with that are the ones I want to be around. And I could just be my beautiful self. I could be my beautiful self and receive beautiful energy. That is the highest path there is. You're in the chrysalis, right? You're not the caterpillar. You're not that low energy anymore. You're not crawling, but you're in the chrysalis. It's the middle road. Now you got to decide if you're going to stay there or if you're going to fly. If you're going to transform truly and fly. So I hope that if this message has caught you, that it has served you well and gave you the quick shake that Spirit needed to give you. Because Spirit wouldn't have guided me twice in one day unless it was important. You know, you might want to go back and watch the first reading and accept that maybe you are in one of those two energies, even if it's just a little bit, because 99% ain't 100. So if there's a percentage of you, even if it's just 1% that is tied into that first reading, like you really might need to rewatch that first live. Because the divine loves you. The divine loves you. And you deserve to be loved. You deserve to choose that for yourself. Love is the way. Having this reading as a second reading to build off that. If you were person number 2 that was on the fence in that read, you're person number 1 in this one. Be willing to cut off what needs to get cut off and free yourself. You're so close. You're so close. Like, please don't quit now. You are so close. Say fuck it and go all in. Go all in, because I promise you, you will win. You will win the pot. You will win the pot. Go all in. Go all in. And you will fucking win. You will win so hard. It'll be the most beautiful win of your life. Quite possibly one of the most beautiful wins of your lifetime. So, I have faith. I have faith. Spirit guides me like it does for a reason. All right. I love you all. I love y'all so much. And I will see you again soon. Bye, everybody.